So pro tip, if you're gonna make a YouTube video, don't forget to turn on the microphone, or you'll have to shoot the whole thing over again. Just something I thought of right now. Hello there, my name is Colin and welcome back to the Filmmaker Files. For the past couple of episodes we've been talking about different principles and theories when it comes to editing. And while there's a lot more there that I want to explore, we are going to start to shift gears next week away from editing. But before we do, I wanted to take the opportunity to cover some basic tips that will help you improve not only the speed of your editing, but the choices that you're making. So first up, we have something that I've been using for a little while now, and it's drastically changed the speed at which I'm color grading, and that is adjustment layers. I don't hear very many people talk about them, which is a shame because they are phenomenal. Most editing programs will allow you to put adjustment layers over your footage, which allows for quick and easy color grading for a large scene. Simply create a new adjustment layer and drag it over the footage that you want to grade. Do your color grading and bam! You've pretty much color graded a whole scene. Now obviously you're gonna have to go in, chop it up a little bit and do some fine tuning in there, but it's a really helpful way to grade quickly, and it's useful for a lot of different things, not just color grading, but you can go and do your own research on that. You think I'm just gonna give you all the answers? What kind of show do you think this is? Next up is organization. Now everybody has their own method, and depending on what you're shooting, you might organize things a little bit differently, but one approach that I tend to take is by breaking it down into each day's shoot, and then subfolders within there for each scene, and then the video and audio separately in each folder. This way, when I import things into my editing program, things are already broken up pretty well, and it's just a matter of doing some quick organization in the program. Plus, if you need to go and find the raw files on your computer, you're gonna know exactly where they're at.
Where'd all the files go?
I pretty much felt obligated to make that joke, so take it as you will. Now the last one is a two-parter. The first part is actually on set. When you're shooting something and it's time to call cut, give it a couple extra seconds before you actually call cut. Holding for just a couple extra seconds can sometimes lead to some interesting things with your actors' performances, but also it gives you room in the edit to make some interesting choices as well.
A lot of that is done with little cuts, like at the end we just see his eyes questioning himself a little bit, and that sort of small editing became very important.
It's always easier to work with something you do have than to try and add in something that you don't have. Which brings me into the actual editing process. Now when you get in and start editing, the principles and ideas that we talked about in the last two episodes certainly will help you, but there may come times where it's not feeling quite right, something seems off, and that's when I recommend extending or taking away 1 second from either end of the clip. This can cause you to find some interesting choices that maybe you wouldn't have seen before. Maybe you end up cutting on some movement which helps with the flow of your scene. Or maybe you see a facial reaction from one of your actors that you didn't see before, or you see it from a different angle which changes the tone of the scene and your character. If you're just starting off and learning how to edit, I think this is a great tool to help you learn some things as you're working. Are you holding too long in some places? Are you cutting too soon? Are you cutting away at the wrong time in a scene? And if you are experienced with editing, then I think this is a great way to approach a scene if you're stuck. If something doesn't feel right and you extend something out and you see something that you didn't see before, it can help give you a direction to edit the rest of the scene. Then after you look at that second, then you move into frames and you find the exact moment that you want to cut, and a little editing humor for you there. Now, like I've said the past two episodes, I absolutely love editing. I think it's incredibly helpful as a filmmaker and as a storyteller to understand editing because it really does change the way you approach things in every other department. Your films stop feeling like you just threw things together and they start feeling more fully realized. Next week we are going to be switching gears a little bit, but I'd like to ask you guys first what you think I should talk about next week and for the next couple weeks. I'm more than open to requests and suggestions, so just leave a comment below if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about. That's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you next week.